What's really good, Facebook? Peck. Well, I just finished putting the final touches on the paint job for the scepter that I'm selling on Etsy for $34. And it's going to have a quartz crystal in it and some copper wire wrapped around it. And after that paint's done drying, all I got to do is add some Mod Podge to it. Make it all nice and shiny. And then the last 3 steps I'll do when I can. But we got black, dark green, light green, all the way down, and then black towards the end. I was pretty much able to get the handle attached, get the whole thing painted, and the hole drilled for the crystal in one sitting without moving it very much on a vice clamp. But at digression, because look at all that black and green paint I get on my fingers from doing it. Yep. $34 for a crystal scepter, and I'm only making 1 for the batch. So if it sells out quickly, it sells out quickly. The rest are going to be your basic handheld ones we'll start introducing. And then the certificates with this batch will include the stickers that were sent to me. A craftsman by trade, I suppose. And crafting a wand is a great way to kill some time. And I left some of the bark on there to give the paint job a textured look. So parts of it are smooth, like the handle is smooth. And right towards where the crystal goes in, it's smooth. And my nails are pretty fresh for the most part. I mean, some of it chips off, but it's, you know. You have any idea how frustrating it is, though, when you cut, drill, repeat several times? It's irritating, to say the least. But when it's all said and done, that scepter is going to look sick, and I have a feeling it's going to sell quickly. But I got the scepter drying right there in the vice clamp. In the last video, I took it off the vice clamp and squeezed it to the handle to make the handle dry. And then I noticed there were a couple spots that the vice clamp took off when it was angled from painting it. So I touched up the spots that needed to be painted. And then did a whole custom black and green paint job going from top to bottom, and it looks pretty slick. It'll look nice with some copper wire wrapped around it. That's what's up. And I thought it was kind of ironic in one of the newer episodes of Family Guy, Stewie starts singing songs from the play Hamilton. I got a chuckle out of that. I was like, oh, that's good. My buddy Michael Baldwin is doing a remake of that play with all the songs and everything, doing Act 1 first and then Act 2. And they have me playing the part of Washington, apparently. So, yeah. But we're a long ways away from even rehearsing at this moment because, yeah. Although if we did a couple of strands of copper wrapped around the bark section, just a single strand, and then have it crisscross at the top near the crystal. Oh yeah, that looks sick. Hell yeah, I'll have to check it out later, most definitely. My recent tax returns coming in. More cooking videos for YouTube, you feel me? Well, I'm waiting for this behemoth to get done drying. With the bark right here left on, definitely added a cool texture to it. I mean, it's dry enough to where I can grab onto it. It's not gonna. The paint's at least dry on the scepter, but as far as the handle goes, that remains to be seen. So I'll leave that in there for a bit longer. I tried to wrap it as tight as possible. Yeah, that should hold nicely. The glue is dry enough where it's not going to come off. It should hold nicely for the most part. I'll let that continue drying before I add Mod Podge to it. But here's this thing up close. The crystal's going to go in there. And you got the handle of it right here. And the glue's still a little bit sticky, but it's not going to come off on my fingertips. So this thing is just about there. This looks like something that will come together quite nicely. It's going to take a minute to come together, but it's getting there. The custom black and green paint, that looks sick. You can see where I left the bark on, like right here to like right here. So now I should be able to just stick this in the, or set this down somewhere, because the paint's dry enough, it's not going to come off. I set it down somewhere to where the handle can finish drying a bit more. And by the time the handle is done drying completely, I can add some Mod Podge to it and make it shiny. And this will be available with the next batch of wands for $34. Better finish getting a couple more supplies for it. You know, you get like a single strand of copper wire to wrap around this thing with the barb's wave. Just, and I guess you're about here, kind of weave it a bit so that I have just enough room to wrap it around the crystal a bit. How much copper wire should I get? How many inches of it? That might be a bit too much. Although, hold on. I go to use a tape measure to theoretically figure out the copper wire situation before I even get it. So get some pre-planning done. Let's see. Yeah, way more than that, but not much. Let's do like a single strand down here. What's your name, man? There's 1, 2. It leaves all this up here. Only want to leave it actually more than 2 feet. Like if I had a strand of copper wire about this long, I could make something cool with it. Something a bit skinnier so it bends easier. Three feet and 4 inches worth of should be, yeah, there should be enough. I had a strand of copper wire this long. Yeah, that should be enough. Let's see, I'm standing there like an idiot going, okay, how long do you need the copper wire to be? I don't know. I got time for you to waste your fucking time and shit, so. I don't want you in there all fucking day, you know. It sort of helps to know what you're looking for before you go in. That is a sweet looking scepter, man. It's just about there. Crystal going right in there. By the time this motherfucker's done drying, we'll be ready to be Mod Podged. Like you could literally smack somebody with this that would hurt. Straight. That's why I have to take it to the Wonder Magic shop when I can. It's just about done drying though. Monday, da 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 da. Monday. And this took a minute to throw together, but it's done now. Well, it's a lot better than it was going earlier. Saturday was just blue. I woke up having a bad day, and Sunday was a little bit better, but not, you know. I was mostly mad at the fact that this thing right here was being a pain in the ass to work on. I would chop the end off, drill the hole. The wall around the hole would be too thin, it would snap while drilling. Or I drill a hole on the side of the stick trying to make it happen. And then I get to this point and it's like, okay, there we go. Now we're starting to be back in business. This will make it a badass scepter for Etsy, most definitely. Although once this is all said and done, I would highly advise not conking someone on the head with this, just because it probably hurt and you don't want the crystal to pop out. But if I get a crystal that fits that hole just right, it ain't gonna pop out. I ain't sure that. That Gorilla Glue holds in place quite nicely. And then taking the copper wire and wrapping it around the base of the crystal where it meets the hole and then zigzagging it. all the way down here. And this would hurt to get smacked with something like this. Now, leaving some of the bark on and barely sanding the nubs off of it, it gave it sort of like a wavy pattern where I left the bark on. And it's a bit rougher than like down on the handle or up here. All right, Mike, have a good day or night at work, I guess. Working the graveyard shift, eh? By the time that paint's done drying, I don't think that bark's going to come off very easily. We'll start wrapping the copper wire from here. And just go all the way up. Stabs will go for $44. Scepters like this one will go for $34, and the basic handhelds for $24. I've been trying to tackle this damn thing for the last 2 days, and now it's coming together very nicely. As a crystal scepter, hand carved and painted from a stick found lying around Casper. And the crystal is going to be bought from a local shop. Sort of adds a more, I don't know, kind of homegrown feel to it, I guess, if you will. Anyone could fucking take a goddamn chopstick, roll it in cardboard paper, and super glue it in stages so it makes like funky designs. But I mean, that's not really. It can be done to save some time in carving something this intricate, but it's not as authentic. And I may not even film the stages. I'll be making the other ones, just this one. So you never know when they're going to be up. Until I say, like, yo. Generally speaking, if you see me starting to work on something like this, then it's going to need to continue drying a bit longer on that handle, especially before I add the Mod Podge to it. I could add some Mod Podge to this whole top area right here. But I want to wait till the handle's done drying before I do that. And I'll add Now, watching them dry is not very entertaining, but the finished product is, hopefully it looks good. I set the crystal wands to take a bit longer. That's just I could have said I was going to quit making wands and make YouTube videos as an April Fool's prank, but that would have been mean as fuck. All my fans would have been like, no. And they'll be the same colors as the basic colors last time: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. Which gives me like white and black, black and white. Those are the 8 basic colors that I offer with the wands, and then of course 2 random colored ones. But if I can get these done as quickly as possible, that's what I try to give off, at least, is that no one's going to make wands like this. You know, these are, no 2 sticks are going to be shaped exactly the same, but I try to get them to a relatively uniform thickness where they're not going to just immediately snap. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, I could do something like that. I thought about it, but I'm like, nah. A lot of people would be like, dude, why would you quit making videos? Just got done mowing down on like 4 burger patties and 2 eggs. Numb. Packed with protein, baby. Well, when I say a uniform thickness, I mean do a little bit of snipping to get this the red one started. This is what I mean by uniform thickness. When you hold it, you know what I'm saying? It feels like you're holding a wand. I could use that knife to carve the bark off of this, but I might just end up using sandpaper to get the bark off of this later on. So a lot of these nubs can be sanded off with a little bit of, you know. There's like one custom crazy colored one and then one just plain colored one. Now that I think of it, that'd make it easier. That way I'm not sitting there on the last one going, what color should I make it? And make it clear coat. No coat on it, just a handle and, yeah. Although tread heavy because the one who purchases the crystal scepter is going to have a nicely crafted wand. I mean, it's capable of some serious shit. So, if done and enchanted correctly, I should say. I don't LARP, no. At least I haven't. Yeah. That's why I don't want the copper wire I wrap around it to be too thick so it doesn't make it ridiculously heavy, but it adds some aesthetic to it. Oh, I've gone paintballing before. That shit's hella fun. If you ever get a chance to do it. Yeah. I've done paintballing before. It's quite fun. Get your adrenaline pumping, shooting some paintball guns. You know what I'm saying? Paintball, airsoft, that kind of thing. Yeah. Or at least I got that first one to a point that as soon as I get the scepter done, I can just, you know what I'm saying? Or I may end up getting that to a certain point too before I get the rest of the supplies to finish the scepter or what have you. So But hopefully when the person who orders that scepter gets it, hopefully they like it. Well, if they're willing to pay $24 or $34 for it, then, And for the time I'm taking to make this scepter, I could be charging more for it. But I'm like, nah. You sell them at a fair price. People can get down with. They're going to be looking forward to other stuff like it. Any stories from paintballing? None I can remember recently, other than if you ever get a chance to go paintballing, it's quite fun. But one sport I would not mind trying would definitely have to be windsurfing with the suits and shit. That shit looks fun as fuck. And I got the paint job and everything touched up on this wicked looking scepter. And I got the first couple of little bits done for the first wand after that. So I'm definitely getting the next batch started. The scepter is going to be for sale for $34. It's going to have an actual quartz crystal in it. It'll be a nice looking addition to anyone's home. However, I'm amping up advertisement for it right now because there's no telling how long it'll last. I mean, the first batch of wands I had sold out in like 5 minutes flat, so one lucky son of a bitch is going to get their hands on a KobraCraft crystal wand, and the first one with many to come. And that sucker was a bitch to get prepared. I kept on fucking up on the hole. Either the wall was too thin, it would snap, or I drill a hole in the side of the stick by accident. I'm like, nah. And then eventually I got it to cooperate. And it's starting to come together very nicely. I don't like it when shit like that is stubborn. But if I'm building a crystal scepter for my Etsy store, it's got to be legit. And there's so many things that can go wrong with making a crystal wand that it's just much easier to make the handhelds. So you might not see crystal wands on the site too often. And the biggest factor, of course, would be shipping so that the crystal doesn't come out. But you get a crystal that fits the hole snugly, it ain't going to come out, especially after I glue it and add the final touches to it. And I mean, that'd be the biggest concern, would be shipping something like that. And I got a shit ton of these KobraCraft wand stickers that Death Main sent me, in which I can add to the certificates to make them more official. Now I'm going to show you what the crystal scepter looks like when it's all said and done, of course. That's free advertising on my behalf. Done through me. You know, it's... And that's a no-brainer. If you're single, who cares? Find a hobby. For me, it's guitar playing, making my wands, playing video games, you know, that sort of thing. Things that are fun for me and interactive, so I'm not sitting around all day going, ugh. Because the rest of those wands are going to come together so quickly. I may end up making the first one just a plain colored one. That way I'm already on the next one a lot quicker. It'll make the batch go a lot quicker. Getting a game strategy figured out for my next batch of wands and getting something that's consistent that people come to expect when they purchase. You know. I've seen wands like this crystal scepter I'm making go for some serious cash. I have to go to Google and type in crystal one, CRYSTA. See what they're going for. They got some stuff on Etsy. Well, here's a crystal wand for sale for like $39.55. Damn, some of these are really fancy. There's one being sold for $600, $150, $123. Wow, crystal scepters and wands are really expensive on Etsy. Holy sweet Jesus, that's nicely crafted. Hold on, I got that. Damn. This crystal wand of sorts is like $225. I mean, that's some pretty good shit right there. Whoever did that is seriously talented. You guys gotta see this shit right quick. This is what I'm competing against. Oops, I didn't mean to type that. Delete. Damn it. You guys gotta check out this link though, seriously. Like, this person's a really good wand maker. There we go. Hopefully that copied the link. That is a nicely detailed wand. I mean, that right there is just running for $225. So I could be charging more for my crystal wands, but I'm not going to. $24 for a handheld, $34 for a scepter, and $44 for a staff. That's pretty reasonable considering some of these are going for like $200 some odd dollars. I mean, this person has every right to charge that much. It's their product, and you can see it. It looked like it took a lot of time into making something like this. I mean, that's crazy. And I've seen some of the wand markets on Etsy, and the handheld market's pretty straightforward. There are a couple of wand sellers that sell some pretty good wands, but then the good majority of them are just rolling them in construction paper and wrapping them around chopsticks, which I guess I could make a wand shape, but it still has wood at the core of it. But nothing wrong with that if you're selling that. But if you're taking an actual stick that you find in Mother Nature and carving it, crafting it into an actual wand, there's a difference. And that's my fucking selling point right there. Is a lot of these Etsy stores do that. They cut corners to make a cheap wand that looks like the real deal. And some of them turn out pretty cool if you do them just right, but this is definitely someone who didn't cut corners. And the crystal on that looks long as fuck. You get a good quality quartz crystal, it's not going to break on you. Real quartz doesn't break. It's made out of rock, after all. I'm just saying. And the Wonder Magic shop usually has a beautiful selection of quartz anyway, so there's a bunch of different options I can go for just to see what looks good with the scepter and stuff, you know. If they have colored quartz that doesn't break very easily, something that's like strong as fuck, which should be a bit more expensive, but better off getting something that's like clear colored. I mean, as an example, the staff I made for myself, this is real quartz. How many times have I dropped this thing on the ground and it hasn't chipped or broken or snapped off? It might have popped out of the hole from time to time, but I've had to fix it a couple times from doing that. But now I think I've got it to where it's not gonna. Yeah, it's in there pretty solid. This last time I fixed it, that fucker's in there nice and solid. Something like this took a hot minute to make, but yeah, this one's not for sale. But finding a stick that's long enough and thick enough can be a hassle. So to make a staff, I would buy a hiking cane from a sportsman's type store and just drill a hole in the top and put the crystal in there, you know, and that makes it go by so much quicker, you know what I'm saying? And then from there I can wrap a little bit of copper wire around it. You do what I do, you know, make it look nice. Although I'm hesitant to do crystal staffs because the packaging is going to be a lot bigger, and longer packages like that are going to cost more to ship. So I may end up having to charge more than $44 for a staff, to be honest. I mean, I'm seeing people sell their crystal wands on Etsy for like $33 to $200. So I could be charging more for my crystal scepter here, but I'm not going to. Gorgeous wands at an affordable price. That's, you know, or at least reasonable enough to where, you know, I'm not completely screwing myself out of money, and I'm not completely overcharging my customers for a wand. I was taking a look at my competition on Etsy for crystal wands, and I stumbled across this gem right here. This person is selling it for $225 flat. And it's made from a bone. It has actual quartz and looks like real copper and everything. It looks very nice. That's some pretty fair competition, you know what I'm saying? It's good to do that, you know what I'm saying? It's good to not get too confident in my sales, you know what I'm saying? Because there's people out there charging that much for it, you know. If I made something like that and charged way less for it, people would be like, you're insane. Why would you know what I'm saying? Because at the factoring cost of, I've already made enough money to resupply and my one making supplies and a little money on the side. Well, good evening, Carla. How you doing this fine evening? I'm currently at work creating the scepter for my Etsy store, and it's going up for $34. And I got it to the point where the handle's drying from that dab of glue that I put on it. And when it gets to the point where the glue's dry, then I'm going to cover the entire thing in Mod Podge. Let it dry. And then it'll be ready for the quartz crystal and the copper wire and all that. So and you get to see the finished product when it's done. But simply admiring the competition on Etsy, if you will. Yeah. Yes, indeed. And that one's not even mine. That's just something that someone else created. And I was admiring the competition. I'm like, damn, $225. I see why they're charging that much for something like that. That looks legit as fuck. I mean, I can also use Etsy money to order supply or order supplies from the same store to make more wands. That's the beautiful thing of it. So, you know. Now, waiting for them to dry is not exactly the fun part, but when they do finish drying, the signs of a good craftsman, I got paint all over my hands. But this right here. I'm going places with this shit, people. The glue down here is still a little bit wet, but it's dry enough that, you know, it's not going to get all over my fingertips. That's why I have to add more Mod Podge, some Mod Podge to it. Not more, add to it, because that's not Mod Podge, that's glue. But you can see this wild ass paint job on it that I did on it so far. I might be able to add some Mod Podge to it. Just the top section at least. Put it back in the vice clamp and then Mod Podge the top section of it. And then when that's done, flip it over and do this other side. And then when the Mod Podge is done drying on both sides, it's basically going to be ready for the last couple of steps. I wanted to show off this wicked paint job for it that I did. And the hole's deep enough that it'll house the crystal comfortably without it. You know what I'm saying? Like, as it literally goes to my knuckle on my pointer finger. I'm gonna need a sponge brush for this next process. This will make the paint job really shiny. I'm definitely going to want to apply a nice coating of it all over. We want to cover this the scepter in Mod Podge. Just cover it and spread it as thin as possible. Just to make that really kick-ass paint job nice and shiny. The Mod Podge will also protect the paint from chipping off. And for the traveling practitioner, something like this, you could wield it, but you might get some strange looks wielding it in public, like, who's this Harry Potter motherfucker over here with the crystal wand? And you probably just chuckle and be like, they don't even know. When you get a thick enough stick, you can pull something like this off quite easily. Just gotta find a stick that's thick enough, otherwise you try to drill a hole out for a crystal and just completely snaps on you and kind of defeats the purpose of trying to make it in the first place. I suppose while the glue's drying on that handle, oh shit. That's classic. Check this out, Facebook. The brush came off the wood. Classic. Put that sucker back into place. There we go. Yeah, enough Mod Podge on this goddamn brush that I could just. Oh shit, there it went. It's in the trash can now. God damn it, I ain't digging that out. Motherfucker. Wow, this shit happens, otherwise you wouldn't poop right. What the fuck? Now I need another sponge brush. Which I should have that. try something a little bit smaller. This might help with getting a handle done. Because while that glue dries on that handle, and finish with sealing this bad mama jamba. And there weren't too many cracks in the stick, so I could definitely make something with this. So I coat the entire thing in Mod Podge. Sections that I can do anyway. Smashing. I love seeing a wand come together. And take that Mod Podge on the center itself and just spread it really finely over the entire thing. Spread that right. And realize how that looks a little funky when it's drying with the Mod Podge, but when it's done drying, it's going to be nice. Freaking shit. I mean, even if you don't practice magic Facebook, by the time this thing is all said and done, there's going to be a certain aesthetic to it. That's coming to dry. That's also sitting down drying. It's going to look good. Working. Scepter. Yes. This shit. There's a couple spots that I missed on the handle here. I can adjust it to where it's going to hold that in place. And the fucking thing ain't coming off. Yeah, I got that entire handle coated in Mod Podge. Pretty much got all the Mod Podge done, painted on it, without making too much adjustment to it. Yeah, buddy. Boy, howdy, this Mod Podge is messy as shit. It gets all over your hands and it dries clear, but it leaves like this residue. It's weird as shit. Nice thing about these wands, they're made in the good old US of A. That's another good selling point, especially if you live in the States. But pretty much the stuff that I find, you know, looking at it for the most part. Yeah, buddy. And I got most of that paint off my hands. But I think I missed a nail because I got some Mod Podge on my nails. And I got it all off for the most part, so I'm not worried about it right now. Just so I'm not making a mess, trying to operate my computer, and painting shit all over my keys. No, I'm good on that. Once it is completely done drying to a point where I can just place it down somewhere and it's not going to get Mod Podge everywhere, all the other ones will be cranked out a lot faster. And like you literally see a template to it. It started from this random ass stick. By the time all that shite's done drying. Yes. But this freaking thing's gonna look nice when it's done. Now, if I can get it to a point where I can sit it onto a shelf, then it's not going to spread Mod Podge all over the place. And that'll be the most excellent point to get to, but it kind of looks like the Mod Podge might have dried on the sector part of it, but it's still pretty much soaking on the handle. Having a badass looking crystal scepter for $24. That's literally cheaper than any of the other crystal wands they have for sale on Etsy. Or something that size, and the time taking to make it, and then the supplies gathering it and all that sort of thing. Yeah. The crystal wands they have for $24 aren't that thick, for one. And two, when this behemoth of a wand is done, it's going to look sick. And it's going to look sellable. And all I got to say is get your hands on it as quickly as you can, because as soon as these wands are gone, you're going to make another batch. Although I'm confident that if the first batch sold out in 5 minutes, you know what I'm saying? Some of these crystal wands that are offered on Etsy are like $600. I'm like, damn, dude. Not unless they're like encrusting the handles with actual diamonds and shit. Like, that's crazy. Now for a crystal wand, $24 for something that massive is a fair price, very fair price. So it would not surprise me if that crystal scepter was the first one to go, even though it's a little bit more expensive than, say, all the others. There could be someone just tuning in one day going, waiting for the right time to buy a wand. All of a sudden they see a full listing. They're like, yes. And they buy it before anyone else buys it. I think that makes them a bit more exclusive if they're doing like 10 to 11 per batch. And maybe like every other batch include a crystal wand of some sort. And I don't know, make the crystal wands a bit more exclusive than the handhelds. Although technically it's not sharp. You might get some. That's good. Black Cavendish. Damn. If you're wielding a wand with a crystal in it, you might get some strange looks, but I have to pack like some newspaper around the quartz crystal when I package it with some packing peanuts wrapped around it just to be on the safe side. I'm not going to do stabs too often just because they're really long and the longer packages are a lot more to ship. So I would not legally be able to charge I could charge $44 for a staff. And depending on how much it would cost to ship something that freaking long, Yeah, this is definitely the first scepter being sold on CobraCraft wands. So there's a chance this one will go a lot quicker than the other ones will. There's a good chance someone could stumble across it while looking up wands on Etsy, and a non-fan ends up buying it by coincidence. Because anytime you see a kick-ass crystal scepter for sale, and it's for $24, it's not too inexpensive. And it's made with real wood and real quartz crystal. You know what I'm saying? It's like, whoa, And you could do some powerful shit with it if you knew how to use it, so. But whatever spell you cast most definitely comes back upon you. looks pretty fucking realistic too from a distance. Like, you're just walking in my apartment, like, bro, did you get a pet crow? Nah, bro, it's just a statue. Oh. But you can't tell me if you had a wedding and you had a flock of ravens and doves released at the same time, that would be just epic as shit. Provided that the ravens just don't go ham and eat the doves, which would be some metal as fuck shit. But I don't know, depending on how your future missus might feel about that, she'd be like, oh my god, did those ravens? Like, yeah, buddy, bloodbath. Which I don't think you can legally do. I don't know if you can actually do something like that. I mean, a parrot would be cool, but they're expensive as fuck. Could you get a parrot as a therapy animal? I wonder. That'd be some crazy shit, man. Big old African gray parrot just chilling on your shoulder. Like, what up, Sherlock? Like, well, why the fuck would you name your parrot Sherlock? Just so I can teach you to say no shit, Sherlock. It'd be funny as hell. Yes. He's a crime-solving parrot. That'd be dope as fuck, you know it would. Now, you can legally own parrots in Wyoming. It's just, you gotta keep them indoors during the colder months. Because if you take them outside when it's warmer, they'll get used to it. And then when you take them inside when it's cold, they'll be looking at you like, bro, come on, let's go outside. You're like, no, it's too cold. You can't go outside. Your bird will look at you like, bro, come on. You crack the window open, they'd be like, and they walk away from it like I'm intelligent. And it's the same concept with having snakes. And you can legally own a cobra in Wyoming, but it has to be devenomed and raised up to a certain point and raised to be fed on pinks and shit like that. And it costs about $2,000. Which you can't tell me having a little monocled cobra just chilling on my shoulder. Big old circle on the back of its hood. That'd be dope as shit. See, I have the choice between spending $2,000 on a sex doll or getting a pet cobra. I think I'd rather get a pet cobra. I'm just saying, like, there'd be some badass shit. Be chilling at the bar with the snake on my shoulders. People be like, whoa, man. Whoa. Like, it's cool, it's cool. Just don't fuck with me and he won't fuck with you. Just because they get devenomed doesn't mean they're not defanged. And I hate to have them devenomed, but it's a law requirement. If you're going to have a pet cobra in Wyoming, you got to have it devenomed. It's the same as a rattlesnake. Although rattlesnakes are a lot easier to get. Y'all hear that fucking noise. And if you're native to an area where rattlesnakes roam, that's the kind of sound you're like, oh fuck, where is it? Don't move. Their fangs unhinging like long fingers. And they're like hooks and they hook onto their prey. It's cool as shit. Maybe between running stories and music and wands and a bunch of other bullshit. Just random creative crap to keep my mind busy and occupied so I'm not sitting here like... Not Face Hardware doesn't have the copper wire. No, they don't. They have copper piping, but they don't have the actual wire that you wrap around. I had to go to Home Depot for that. Which both stores are reliable for what you're looking for. I mean, if you need supplies to make shit like wands, you got spray paint and what have you, but... So yeah, I'll be using some of my tax returns to get this wand business going a bit. Because word gets out about these crystal wands. They're going to be like, yo, you're selling crystal wands for an affordable price compared to what? To be fair, I mean, the competition is selling some pretty wicked shit. I see this crystal wand on Etsy, and I'm like, damn. $225, that's reasonable considering what their materials are. You look at it and it's like, dude, that's some healthy competition. But $34 for something like that is not unreasonable. I've seen some crystal wands go for about $35, $36, $37, $38. So based off of the research I just did on Etsy, selling a crystal scepter for $34 is reasonable. Considering that some crystal wands will go for anywhere from $200 to $600. Like, how the fuck y'all gonna charge $600 for a goddamn crystal wand? Like, that's bull. What the fuck are you using to make it so freaking expensive? And how long does it take you to make it? Because those are a lot of factors. Considering that the standard price for such a thing is, from 30 to 60 for something smaller. Which, a crystal staff online might sell for a lot more than $44, come to think of it. Or about the same, I don't know, depending on, But word on the Etsy store, they see the success rate of my wands being sold out like that. They're like, yo, how the fuck does he do that? And if you have a cult following behind you, that helps just a wee bit. It's gonna take a couple hours to fucking dry, but what it does, when it's dry enough, I can place it on the shelf and it's not gonna get all over the place with the Mod Podge. Then I can focus on the rest of them. Lickety split. I mean, we live in a small ass town. There really is not a whole lot to do, so you find stuff to do. And this is a great, if you're actually good at it and you make some decent money selling it. Yeah. I could end up starting like finishing one batch and then if I have enough sticks, start another one. So as soon as that batch, you know what I'm saying? Of course, if it's a nice enough fucking day, I'm saying. I mean, I'm just riding my bike to gather all the supplies I need for that wand that's drawing on the bench. Because it would be a bit quicker for at least some of the journey. Literally within a span of a couple of hours, I got that thing painted, drilled, polished. Now, if I had the crystal and the copper wire to complete it, it'd be done in one sitting, but eh. That's actually the perfect spot for that to be at this very moment. Yeah. I mean, they have all kinds of crystals you can get at the Wonder Magic shop. But using real quartz is a nice touch for the wands, eh? But so you know it's not gonna break on you. But at the same time, you don't want to go smacking people with it. That's kind of cool how the handle just kind of on that scepter just kind of curves down like a pistol or some shit, like, you know what I'm saying? So $24 for something like, or excuse me, $34 for something like that. That's reasonable considering what I just seen. Could you imagine spending like $600 on a wand? Like, that's ridiculous, dude. I could not legitimately charge that much money for one of my wands. That's too much. I was seeing the competition for crystal wands on Etsy, and it's like, yeah, $34 is reasonable for something like this. And if you're just joining me, you're literally missing the fact that I showed off the paint job before I polished it. See, I'm not going to show it off while it's drying because that's just going to get Mod Podge all over my hands again. It just seems kind of pointless. However, when that's dry enough, I can once again show it off. I know it's filming that wand in different stages. That's what hooks people, man. making them anxious as fuck to get their hands on it. I gotta have it. And the smaller ones will sell out just as good, just because the first batch was sold out in 5 minutes, which is crazy shite. And there's already a video done about it on YouTube. So as far as the wand store, as far as like the advertisement for the wand store goes, so people are going to be keeping an eye out. Like as soon as one comes up for sale, boom, they're on that shit. To that, I say. Watching the wand dry doesn't get much more entertaining than that, I tell you what. All seriousness aside, though, it's going to be a most excellent crystal scepter when it's done. If I put the bracelet up here, it's not so tight, but it kind of covers the tail of the cobra a little bit, but yeah. That's a pretty sick pipe, yo. I'm just saying. That had to have taken some time to carve. And how the hell he got my magical symbol carved on there. That had to have taken a minute. That had to have taken a very steady hand to carve something like this. The pentagram looked a lot easier to carve. Damn. See, I tried staining my billiard this color, and it didn't quite turn out that color. The green faded off, and it created a two-tone camo sort of looking paint job. And there's a little bit right there. It's not quite all the way off. And she's not even staying on there. So I would just take my thumbnail and kind of scrape it off on the side. Yeah. Right there, right there. Get that to fade in there just a little bit. And there we go. Matches the overall. Kind of like this sort of. And there we go. Kind of spread it out just a little bit. So it's the weirdest thing that literally this pipe, the finish on it fades that I tried doing for all except for that one little spot. It's the damnedest fucking thing. And people are wanting a video on how to, trim your mustache, just like I did for this thing. And the same principle applies for this as it does up here, or anywhere on your face, really, if you want facial hair to grow out in a certain spot. Then you shave around the area that you want it to grow out, and you keep doing it with every shave cycle. Eventually you get something that's not looking too shabby. Nice looking deal right here. Very nice, very nice. I could just go like that and kind of loosen it up. Yeah, there we go. That looks better. Yeah. If you let it grow out eventually, you get some nice thick shit going here. I could just keep letting this shit grow out so it's like down to fucking here, you know what I'm saying? Doing this number, like, what is up? So really the key, gentlemen, to shaping your whiskers, if you will, or your goatee or mustache, beard, whatever you want to call it, is to simply shave around the areas you want to grow out, leaving those little hairs that grow in unshaven, and with each shave cycle of doing that, they get thicker and thicker and thicker and thicker and thicker. And eventually, you get a combo that you can grow out that works for you. But you want something that'll frame your face nicely, something that'll attract the ladies, you know what I'm saying, that kind of thing, something that'll, define your face nicely. And that's what I tried to do here. And when I had this combo going for No Shave November, I had chicks checking me out. That's no fucking lie. So, You want to up your game a bit. This is definitely one pipe I don't want to smoke out of very often just because I don't want it to break, but at the same time, when I do smoke out of it, it's like, it's a cool little pipe. At the time, it had to have taken the car or something like this. Unclogged very, very nicely. Some serious business. Well, the Mod Podge on the wand portion of it is dry. But the Mod Podge inside the hole where the crystal's going to sit, and Mod Podge on the handle are still drying. That's why I'm glad I got my steel toes on. I'm gonna hurt like this son of a bitch. Could you imagine stubbing your toe on an acoustic guitar case? That would have sucked. But luckily, I had my steel toes on. See, I'm thinking 4 steps ahead of myself now. It's brilliant. Which sometimes doesn't hurt. I could be charging more money for the time I'm taking to wait for it to dry, mind you, but I'm not going to. $34 for a crystal scepter is a fair price. Damn, it's almost midnight. Oh shit. There's a couple of cigarette butts in my ashtray that could be emptied. Oh wait, what am I doing? Force a habit. The trash can's right here. And that Mod Podge looks dry enough. It's not going to be dripping all over the place, which is good. So I can put the trash can back in the kitchen. Speaking of which, I wonder how much money pipe tobacco pipe stain would be. Tobacco pipe. Wood stain is a question for Google. Okay, some of these are nicely done. But what of? Or tobacco pipe finishes. For domestic shipping, prior pipe finishes. Let's be more specific. We need a stain. They don't seem to sell the stain itself. They just, I'm not seeing anything turn up. page for making tobacco pipes. A list of supplies. That's a good place to start. I'm not seeing a website offering stains for sale. Stain remover wood at Amazon. No. Clean wood stain colors. Oh, what we got here? Green colored wood stain. Might be something to look into at Ace Hardware at some point. Guy's bright green. Yeah. The finish doesn't look too bad. Something a bit darker though. And of course they couldn't find it. Yeah. Well, something to look into, I suppose, if the hardware store has it. Spray paint probably wouldn't. It had held on pipes like this before, but it didn't take to this one. Take some of that finish off for reskinning it. Just make this process go a little bit quicker. And just a little bit of sandpaper, you can see that the finish on your pipe comes right out. You might not be able to get like every little bit of it off unless you work at it. got most of the stain off. There's like a little stuff right there. Now pretty much all the spots that I've hit with the sandpaper, that should be the stain to go. Make sure all the tobacco is clear out of your pipe before you go to restain it though. A pipe without stain. You can see the grain of it. I just widened the mouthpiece up a bit using this tool right here. A little bit of friction, a little bit of heat. Let's see how that do. Oh, that's in there tight as fuck. That's in there tighter than a nun's cunt. Pardon my French, but yeah. That pipe stem was so fucking loose and I just widened it up real nicely. And I could darken it up with like a lighter to make it darker. Just to add like a little bit of heat to it. And right off the bat, I darkened it up a little bit. That's definitely one way of tightening up your pipe stem. The fucker was losing shit. I tried using spray paint, that didn't work out so well. So what if I tried using a wood stain instead of spray paint? I bet you the results would look a lot better. take my favorite billiard here and really make that shit shine. And just rubbing the ash from that tobacco that I dumped out back into the bowl. If I did like a light coating of spray paint, but nah, I tried using that before on this and it just, no. I think using a wood stain would be a much smarter idea. And you get the stem to fit better to your pipe. It's also going to hit better. And I can sort of use a little bit of fire to darken it up, just like that. It darkens it up just a little bit. This is one funky colored pipe, man. So this is what the pipe looks like without the majority of the stain on it. Just a quick blast of sandpaper and a little bit of heat from a lighter to darken it up. Really take the heat from that fire and just kind of rub it a bit into the grain of the wood. That darkened up real nicely. You can definitely see the grain of the wood now.